Hey everybody, welcome to today's stream. We're going to be turning up a coffee tamper today using one of the coffee bean blanks. So if you didn't see the video, I posted it. It doesn't appear like YouTube told anybody about it. I did a replay of the December Patron Hangout, and we cast some coffee bean blanks. So it was a while ago, obviously, but yeah, look, the views are like way down. So if you didn't see it, and the other problem is it's not on one of my playlists right up front. Go into videos under my channel, and then it's the newest video. I try to add it to the live streams playlist, but for some reason it won't do that because YouTube. So anyway, I hope everybody's doing good today. It's Sunday, so into the weekend. I'm pretty excited to turn something up. So I've mentioned this on the stream before that I want to do some turning on the weekends. I'm gonna what is the word? I can't think of the word. We're going to be doing one stream a week on Wednesdays. That's going to be the day, Wednesday at 3 p.m. However, that doesn't mean that I can't do extras if I have time or if I need to get something turned. If I'm going to be turning anyway, may as well turn on the cameras. So Saturdays and Sundays I may just kind of pop on, but what I'm going to do is, because of my schedule, I'm going to try and limit it to an hour, and I think I'm going to actually start calling this turning hour with Zach or something like that. So whether I get the project finished or not, I'm not going to worry about it. It's just going to be kind of a hangout time. Most of the things that I do I should probably finish, or at least be pretty close anyway, but anyway, just wanted to kind of give you guys the rundown of what's going on with the streams on the weekends. So let me stop and see what's going on. Lots of people. There wasn't anybody here when I first looked, and now there's tons of people. So glad you guys got the notifications. Looks like Julie's been turning pens. Doug's doing nothing. Well, that's pretty good. There's nothing wrong with that. Philip's here. What's up, man? Let's see here. Jim made a pen. Christine is here. Welcome. Awesome. Hodgepodge and Ray's here. Not dedicate. I still can't think of. Don't you hate that when you're like talking and you're like, I can't even say what I'm trying to say in my head. Anyway, so that's what's up. If you missed last Wednesday's stream, we cast some gold flake. So this blank turned out really cool. Somebody was like, hey, how do you get that suspended like that? And I was kind of like, well, I mean, most of you guys that cast know that I wait till the end of the working time. That'll help lock things in. But with this stuff, I don't know that it would really float or sink. It may be kind of, at least with the Lumelite Clear, it didn't seem like it was going anywhere in the cup. So I didn't even really do much, except, wait for the end of the working time. And then we made some gold flake, money, and blood. So these things turned out really awesome. I don't have my camera here, so I can't get you guys a really good overhead view. But I'm pretty happy with how everything turned out. So if you missed this one, and you want to see how I made these guys, it's not hard or anything like that, but you can kind of see what I did to get this look. So these will be going up on my website next week sometime. I know seems like there's a lot of interest, so I'll let you guys know. And I'm probably gonna make more of these. It kind of depends. We'll see how quickly they go. But I think I might actually make at least another batch of these things. So don't feel like if you missed out on the first one, I'll probably be adding more. So for the coffee bean blanks, if you didn't see the replay of that patron hangout, we made a couple of them. This was actually the first time I think that I've done PVC pipes, and they worked pretty good. You might notice if you saw that video that for some reason I was thinking coffee beans sunk. I don't know why I was thinking that. I haven't made them for a while. They float a lot. And so really the best thing to do, you can see them popping out here. The best thing to do is somehow put something so that you can kind of push them down into the resin. That's actually how you want to deal with these things. And I'm actually thinking if you're going to make a lot of these, it might not be a bad idea. There's a couple of ways to get around it. One of the things that I explained was just add a lot more beans than your blank needs to be. So if you're making a 3-inch blank or a 2-inch blank, add like at least another inch of coffee beans. Actually fill the mold with them, make sure you got enough, and add a lot more. That way you get a nice even blank. But what I would probably recommend is still do that. Add more than you need volume-wise in the mold. But then I would probably think about coming up with some way to just jam something down there that you can just cut off, basically. You don't have to reuse it necessarily even. But for whatever mold, just kind of come up with something that's kind of, you can just get rid of it. Maybe like a plastic, something that's a little bit rigid, but like a plastic grate type thing or something like that. I don't know. I don't know exactly, but I think that's what I'm going to try and come up with next time I do these to make sure that they stay in the resin. So blood money. Yep. A lot of people like those blanks. I don't make them a lot. Here and there I do, but really, well, the thing is though, I'm really digging the money and gold flake. I mean, that alone, even without the red in there, is really cool looking. I'm super stoked about that. I might even make just another batch where it's just money and the gold flake stuff. So anyway, so we got the lathe is set up. I've kind of come up with a couple different views over there. I don't know. We'll see. I'm messing with views all the time. So it's a little bit blown out, but it's just, I don't know. I can maybe turn down the exposure just a little bit. Let me look at this. Let's see what we got here. I think I can turn it down just maybe a hair, like 0.5. Let's see what that looks like. We may just kind of, that white just blows out really easily. I think I'm going to put it up one more tick, but anyway, so we got that ready. What I'm going to be doing is making a coffee tamper, and I was not familiar with what these things are. Dan over at Stainless Bottle Stoppers, I have no clue where he picked this up. They don't make these, I don't think. But he picked this up, and it just has a 3/8/16 little nut on the back. So I drilled the back and glued in an insert. They're the normal inserts, and so it just screws into this thing. So I don't know exactly what kind of shaping. I guess I should have probably looked that up a little bit. But we're ready to rock here. So we got the insert on this side, and we got everything kind of set up. One thing that I'm going to say, I actually glued this in today, which I don't like doing. I really prefer gluing those inserts in the day before and letting them set up. But it's been a few hours. We're holding it in place with the tailstock for most of the time. So hopefully everything will be all right. If you're not familiar with coffee tampers, which I had to ask Dan what it was. I guess this is for espressos, and you can kind of you pack it into the little cup or something. I don't know. I don't really do espresso, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to make one of these things and see what we got, see what we can make, see how it looks. So I also have this view, so you can kind of see what I'm doing. And I think what I'm going to do while I'm turning actually is this one, a double. So you can kind of see what I'm doing up in the corner, but that's not very important, I don't think. And I can kind of show you stuff, hold it under the camera if I need to show you something. I can hold it under the main guy, but you can see me on that one. So I'm going to go in. I think I like, I don't know. I think I like one exposure more. There. I don't know. Whatever. It should be fine, I think. So I think we're ready to rock. I went with the white one. On that stream, we made one with tan, which can be, some people like that, and one with white. I kind of prefer the white. It's kind of like the original idea, the Colonel's original recipe. Oh, I need to get my phone out too. So let me do that. So how's everybody doing today? Pretty fun weekend in the shop? Are we getting some stuff done? Dominic, dinner time. Well, have a good dinner. Martian's here. How's it going? And Scott? Nice. All right, so let me open up my YouTube app. There it is. So I haven't turned a coffee bean blank in a long time. Frankly, I don't think that I've actually used even a negative, since the negative rate cutters came out, which was like 3 years ago. So it's been a little while. I don't anticipate any problems. I'm actually curious to see if this kind of tames them a little bit more than a normal cutter. Who knows? We did not stabilize the beans or do anything. What I did do was I soak coffee beans in acetone just to pull out some oils. But for the most part, they're not really treated or anything. So there's all the info on what's going on. Let's fire up the lathe. Fire up the dust collector. I'm excited. I plan to buy a full-on Cyclone dust collector, like a big one probably. I'm still debating. I think that I could get away with one of the Lagunas, the P-Flux 3. But at the same time, I'm also kind of thinking I may want to just go with a big 5-horse Cyclone. Just go for it kind of thing. But it's going to be nice. I'm going to run a full duct, a big one right across the shop. So I'm just going to have a drop at the lathe. This is not why I'm adding that, but because I am doing that and adding full metal duct work, that's the game plan anyway. I'll just be able to have a drop here. So it'll make things a little bit quieter and probably a little bit more suction maybe. I don't know. We'll see. It's kind of hard to collect dust on the lathe though. All right, so let's get this guy going here. And this is just the easy, let's see, which one is this? The Mini, Easy Wood Tools Mini, they call it Mini Finisher is the name of this tool. And it's just got the CI3 negative rate cutter on it. There we go. So I think Nancy was asking about the smell, and it definitely smells good. The problem is, once you're done, especially since these haven't been treated, the beans haven't been stabilized at all. Coffee beans are pretty chippy things, and so the problem is you have to add a lot of CA glue a lot of times to cover pits. And so in the end, really, you're going to put a top coat finish on it most of the time. And it's pretty much, that negates the fun smell if you have to do that. I mean, so far these are turning quite nice. We're not very far in, but I mean, that's actually, I haven't gotten one little chip out. So we're doing pretty good so far. I haven't turned anything for like ever. It's kind of crazy. I've been trying to plan and organize and do all kinds of other stuff. This thing is so loud. Just don't like it. All right, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit, kind of give you guys a close-up view. It's looking good. I mean, I haven't had one chip at all on this whole thing. So that's awesome. And this is going to be a pretty simple turning. It's, I'm going to go over to the computer. I kind of want to, I looked up some shapes for this. Because like I said, I didn't even know what they were, frankly. And so you're pretty much, you're going for like, I don't know. I mean, the handle's like pretty simple. So let me switch to my desktop view and get, let's see here, where's the window? Let me find my coffee tamper. There we go. So I'm just going to kind of look around here. So this is, so really there's not a whole lot going on with these things. And I think that my tamper is, let's see, I guess there is a little bit of a flat. Maybe I should go over to the other camera. So that one's like curved in this picture, Let me just go to images. Yeah, so I mean, like there's not much going on with these things. This one is probably about as similar to mine as, well, and this one too. So, it's not like you need to do a lot to these things. I mean, you could get kind of crazy with it, but I don't really plan to. I think what I'm going to do is, let me go back over to the, this one? Nope. This one. Let me go to this camera and I'll show you what my tamper looks like. It's just got kind of a little bit of a, whoa, zoom. It's got a little bit of a bevel on it. It's not like it's super curved. So, I don't know. I might just kind of bring it in a little bit, kind of, but not really worry too much. Let's see here. I'm going to grab my calipers here. Let's see what width this is about. That's pretty close. We've got a ways to go before we get down to that. Yeah, that's about right. So I think we'll just kind of put a little bit of a taper, a little bit of a, I guess really a cove in the middle, and just round it over. I think that's what I'm going to do with this thing. It doesn't really require much, I don't think. Yeah, I went back to the computer. I'm just kind of looking around at some of these pictures again. Yeah, so we'll just kind of put a little bit of a fatter handle on the end, come in, taper it, and then, oh, where did the chat go? And then, yeah, it is. The hardest part of turning is picking the design. A lot of times that is definitely true. Sometimes, and I don't know, one of the nice things about turning is, I don't know, a lot of times you have a pretty wide berth when it comes to what what you can get away with without having a plan. It's kind of one of the things that I really like about turning. Can also, I don't know, it can kind of bite you in the butt too. If you're used to not planning anything, then sometimes you do need a plan. But let me turn my little fan on. Where'd my little fan go? One thing that's on the list to buy for the shop, is a floor. Man, what is that noise? It sounds like my dust collector's falling apart. It's ridiculous. Hold on a minute. Something is rattling. Yep. Looking forward to a new dust collection system. Okay. Are we on the right view? Yeah. These coffee beans are turning like a dream. I haven't had one chip yet. Wow. I think these negative rate cutters make a significant difference with coffee beans. I mean, these things are smooth. I wouldn't even say that I'm going easy on it. That's nuts. Huh. Well, I'm happy about that. It makes things easy. Jen's here. What's up? How's it going? Hey, and Eric's here too. Welcome to the stream, my friend. If you're just joining the fun, we're turning a coffee tamper. Man, this thing sounds like it's gonna fall apart. Jeez. Had that for about 15 years. Still going strong, just making some noise. So this is a coffee tamper, if you're not familiar with it. I guess it tamps down espresso grounds or coffee, I don't know. I don't even know what it is really, but we're turning one. I figured a coffee bean blank is the way to go for something like this. Yeah, actually, yeah, I think Ruth Niles does sell them. This is not a Niles one. Like I said, I don't know where Dan got that. Every once in a while, Dan just picks things up and sends them to me. They aren't even made by them. There's a little bit of a chip. I got one little chip right there. I was going kind of aggressive in that area, but I think I can probably get that out. Oh, I know what I was doing. Let's check our progress. I don't think I'm close to it, no. Ooh, we're pretty close. I'm gonna take just a little bit more off. I'm not sure. I might actually go straight in the bottom. See what that looks like. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is actually take it off and just see what this thing looks like on the actual tamper thing itself. Got a little bit of a chip right there. A couple of little ones right there, but I was kind of hogging away on that last pass. Yeah, I think that we should probably kind of taper all the way down to the bottom. It just kind of looks silly. I don't really like that. Turning time, not football time, yeah. Supposed to be cleaning the craft room. I won't tell anyone. Don't you worry. Your secret is safe with me. I like that better. Definitely just feels more elegant. Now, one thing you might notice, there's kind of a just resin area on the bottom. I didn't pack this full of beans enough. So make sure, if you're just joining the fun and you didn't see the video I posted earlier, it's a replay of the December Patron Hangout where we made this. You can kind of see how I did it, and I wasn't, for some reason, I hadn't cast coffee bean blanks for a long time. For some reason I was thinking that they sank. They would sink, but they float. So make sure you pack your mold, full of them. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's see what you guys think. Do a little bit of zoom in here. But it's looking pretty good. Let's see what we still got a little bit of a chip there. Not too bad though. Not too bad. Now one thing you can do to help if you really are having a tough time with chipping. Yak's here. What's up, dude? If you're having a tough time with chipping, then CA glue. Just keep dousing it, fill in spots, and that'll help you get through the worst of it. And then at the end, you know, you might have to fill some little pits here and there. There are little kind of cracks and things. Those aren't chips, that's just the structure of the bean. Again, you'll want to fill that. Now this is the problem. You could maybe get away with, you know, sanding it and leaving it unfinished, but the beans are kind of not structurally tough, so they could get damaged real easy. So the problem is the minute you put a CA finish on this, the smell is going to pretty much be blocked. So, but if you don't put a finish on it, it's probably not going to last that long. Definitely you would not want to do that on a pen, you know. So it's kind of a tough one. Coffee and cream. Hey, what's up, Chris? Thank you. George is going to eat. Have a good dinner. Show the brown. I did not. Well, I did at the beginning, but here's the brown one. It doesn't really look like much. I didn't really. Oh, we're zoomed way in. I didn't really clean it up or anything. But you can see kind of how it looks. I kind of prefer the white myself a little bit, but anywho, let's see here. Let's see if we can gently come around the corner on this guy. What I'm going to do is I'm better off turning and coming into it from the back end here. A little bit low. There we go. Not too bad. A little bit of a nib on the end there. One thing that I'm thinking is it might have been smarter to sand it first with the tailstock still up. Just to have that extra support, because I don't want to put it back up with that point. I don't want to mar the end. So I think what I might do is grab one of those rubber chucky things, just to give it a little bit of support when I'm sanding it. Hope I'm not in the middle of the camera view. That's pretty good. I could sit here messing with it for days, but I think I'd rather move on to the sanding and get this thing ready to rock. All right, so I think we'll start with, well, the surface isn't amazing. So let's start with 180 grit. Let's get you guys up on the screen here. Super Incognito's here. First bowl. Oh man. Tom Brady. Anybody tired of Tom Brady? All right, 180 grit. Slow that down a little bit there. starting with 180 because I didn't do probably the most amazing shaping on this. So there's probably some tool marks. It's kind of hard to tell, to see. It's kind of, you have to really kind of feel it. Now, one thing to keep in mind, the coffee beans are probably going to sand faster, like at a faster rate than the resin. So just something to keep in mind. You may kind of create a bit of a texture on your blank. You're just kind of going a little bit slow. So realistically, you're probably better off doing, you know, as good a job as you can with the tool. I think I'll be okay, but how much time we got? 20 minutes. Okay, we're doing okay. So for anybody that's just joining the fun, so the way that the schedule is going to be going for this year, for streams, we're going to do live streams, resin, typically resin casting, focused on every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. And then on the weekends, not every week, but whenever I have time to turn or need to get something turned up, I'm going to fire up the stream and for an hour, and we'll call it turning hour, like we're doing today, and turn something up. So hopefully I'll be able to at least get it pretty close to finished, you know, whatever I'm working on. But I may not finish every project. Because this year my schedule is a bit tight. That's looking pretty good. Feels good. All right, so I think I'm going to move up to 240 grit. And then the Patron Hangouts are still going to be the first Friday of the month. Doug, what's up? Thanks, buddy. All right, 240 grit. Let's see if I can find one here. That looks like 240, but I have no clue. All I see is 0. So I'm going to get a new piece that I know is 240. Blank's a little bit lighter feeling than a full resin blank. Those coffee beans are so light, and they do take up, you know, a good amount of space in the blank. So these, you know, this handle, it doesn't have like a heft to it. It's kind of light. Just wanted to kind of mention that as an observation. And I'm planning to put a finish on this. So I'm gonna need to fill, you know, there's just this little tiny chip right here. Very, very tiny, but there's a lot of these little cracks. So I'm gonna put a finish on it. I prefer doing that. So let's stop. So we've gone up to 240 grit. I wanna just try and fill as much of these little kind of cracks and things that I can with the CA first. And then we'll go up. All I'm planning to do is go to about 400, I think. But I think that we should be good here. I don't know. Maybe I'll just sand it up to 400, make sure the resin's sanded that high, and then we'll apply the finish. I think that's probably a better route. My phone keeps shutting off. Oh, that's because the thing's not playing. Oh, so I pulled the fan out, then I didn't even turn it on. I'm okay. All right. What am I doing here? Need some 400 grit. That looks like 400 to me. Make sure this thing's nice and blown off. Ooh, we got subscribing. Sweet. Look at all those subscriptions. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Feels like the cloud bot just like woke up or something, because it's like, oh yeah, I gotta tell people. People subscribe. Sleeping on the job. Cloud bot. Okay, I think that I'm gonna call good. The Homer did it. It must have kept doing it too. I had to come up with something fun. I came up with a couple of good ones. I also came up with one for super chats that I love. Those are the only two sounds. I don't know if there's anything else that you could... oh, you know what? We could actually put on a CA finish. I mean, not a CA, a UV finish on this. Huh. All right, I think what I'm going to do... Let's see here. Let's try a UV finish on this thing. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of denatured alcohol just to kind of clean any debris, any dust particles up. Look at that. So hopefully it's cleaning something up. Just want to clean off the white resin, make that as sharp white as possible. Oh, turn this dust collector off. Somebody did the super chat. Dang, I missed the subscribe to Homers. I have it running in the background. Thanks, Jen. I appreciate it. It's so fun, huh? I used to have those alert things on Twitch, and then when I switched to YouTube, it just wasn't really, there wasn't as much support for that type of stuff, it didn't seem like. So I never set any of them up. Ooh, that's looking nice. Yeah, so let's try what am I trying to say? A UV finish. The only problem is I don't have sunlight today, but it cures very fast. So let's give it a little bit of Illuma UV. Woo, blown out. Why is it so blown out? Jeez. Huh. I'm gonna drop the exposure down a little bit so hopefully maybe you can see the label. Why isn't it? Huh. Doesn't look like you can read the label, it's so bright. Is it just me? I don't know. It's called Illuma UV. It's made by Illumilite. There's all kinds of different ones. I've used Solar Res in the past and all kinds of different things, but anyway, Captain Obvious, yep. Cool. All right, so let's do that. So the way that you want to use, and UV finishes are, like the UV resin finishes are pretty awesome. You have unlimited working time, and the game plan is you want to get the thing coated and perfect, and then you hit it with a light. And so you don't do anything until you have gotten it perfect. So what am I going to do here? We're going to do, I have a little, and I would recommend pulling out like a brush, a real brush for this type of thing, which I had some. I have no clue what I did with them. I had one that was specifically, I was reserving for UV finishes, and I have no clue what I did with that thing at this point. Let me go look over here. Mama is gone. Let's throw a party, huh? Sounds good to me. Where did I put that little brush? Well, I got other brushes. I really need to clean up this toolbox area thing over here. That would really, really help. All right, I give up. Let's get a different brush. Goes one of these guys. All right, so I'm just using a disposable brush here. Pretty simple. Let me see what that picture looks like. That looks a lot better with the exposure down. What do you guys think of that picture? It's looking pretty good. Yeah, he caught us all. Oh no. All right, so now here's the deal with this. It really helps to get like a light on this, a serious light on this, so that you can see little air bubbles or any kind of flaw type stuff. And I can already, just turning that on and kind of angling it. What I like to do is angle it so the lights they're bouncing off the blank into my eyes. You don't want the light behind you really, you want it in front of you, angling off. And I can see a bunch of dust fuzz. So we're going to turn this thing on and give it a little bit of a toot toot. I'm actually going to turn, I don't know if this is smart or not, but it seems like just turning on a fan, not very high behind you, kind of helps keep, if there's little dust particles falling from the sky, which I'm sure there are all over the place, because I'm blowing things off and doing that. It seems like finishes go on better with with the little fan on. Now another thing that I could do is, you know, hook up that little rotisserie motor. I don't know. I don't know that that's really totally necessary on something this small. Maybe, I don't know. What was I gonna do? I'm gonna put a, let's see here. Actually, this will work. I'm just gonna put something under this so that if it drips, I'm not causing any issues. And if you can, the way that I like to try to do this, it's kind of the same. You could use like an epoxy, you know, like Amazing Clear Cast or something like that too. But those have such a long working time that this UV resin stuff is pretty good for something smaller like this. But what the game plan is to get it on perfect and then, you know, cure it, and you don't have to touch it. Like, it's done. There's no sanding it and messing around like you would do on a CA finish. So that's what I'm going to be shooting for with this. Just trying to take my time and get everything going. Mike McEwen, what's up? Sorry you drank it all? Quick, hide everything. That's funny. All right, so I'm just going to dip it in here and just kind of paint this on. Now, I'm not going to be, you know, specifically filling all those voids. What I would have done with CA was probably put a gloved finger on and then just put some of the medium. I think I'm starting to kind of think that that might be the easiest way to kind of trowel CA into crevices, cracks, and things like that. These are pretty big cracks. So I think I would have gone for that method. But we're just going to paint this stuff on and see what happens. That's one thing that I've started playing with these UV, you know, resins, finishes a little bit more. I didn't get them to work the first few times that I tried them, and what I found out is the problem was I wasn't getting them fully cured. You really need to give it time. You can't just rely on hitting it for like 2 seconds with one of those lights. The best thing to do is just stick it outside. But right now it's winter and it's probably snowing outside right now, so I'm not going to be doing that. However, I did pick up one of those little nail curing doohickeys for UV resins. Man, I should have had that fan on. I think I was breathing the dust off this stuff, which is a no-no. There's a hole I need to fill. A pit. Hopefully it's not sagging off. I'm kind of going somewhat slow here. Probably could have just done this a little faster, but that's okay. So again, I want to get this nice and coated. I want to make sure that it's coated extremely well everywhere. Now you can sand it and put multiple coats on if you need to or want to. Like one thing that could happen is I may not get some of these little cracks totally filled, which, you know, in that case it would kind of require me to go back and put another coat on if I want it to be perfect. So what I'm doing here is I'm looking for any little low spots. Some of these cracks are not totally filled. And I'm just adding more if that's the case. Going for kind of a thick coating here. I'm also looking for any little air bubbles. That can kind of pop. Could probably use a torch on this, but I'm not 100% sure. So I would probably use caution doing that. Heat gun is probably a smarter way to go, unless you can verify from the, like the manufacturer. I can talk to Alumilite and find out for sure if this stuff. I think Illuma UV is actually a urethane base, so I don't think it's flammable. But a lot of the UV resins I think are polyester based, and that stuff will light on fire. As far as I know, polyester resin is usually flammable. All right, I think I'm going to quit messing with it. UV lights for 3D resin. Maybe. Well, I mean, I have a torch to set it, but you really want to put it. You don't want to rely on just one of these little torches to fully cure it. Like I said, I have a little nail curing, UV light thing, so that should work fine. The sun's the easiest though, because you don't have to worry about the frequency. It covers all of them. So each one of these UV resins has a different wavelength that it cures at best, and so that's another issue that you have with these things is. It's honestly just best to just stick it outside. It's the easiest way to go. Quickest and easiest. And if possible, if you have some sort of a thing, like a little turntable, that would be even better. So I am seeing a few little dips and things. I think I'm going to call it good because I gotta wrap up the show. So we may as well just hit this, get it done. It'll be close enough. Maybe not 100% perfect, but not too bad. I might give it another coat after we hang it up. All right, so let's give it a shot here. You guys can see kind of up in the corner what I'm doing. So this is the right nanometer wavelength for UV, for Illuma UV. I don't know what number it is. It doesn't say. But it does have a specific one, which is different from the ones I have a different torch for SolarRes products. I think this one's, I'm not going to even say anything. I don't know what it is. All right, so I'm going to turn it on. Turn this light off. And this is just setting it up so that it's not going to sag or run or anything, but this is not fully curing it. You really need to let this sit to fully cure. Now I can see a few little bubbles and things. You may not fully, you'll probably want to take a little bit more time than what I did if you want to try and get this on perfect the first time. But you can sand it and do it the other way. The only thing is you really want to wait till it's fully cured. And that's kind of where, when you look at this compared to CA glue, I can put on multiple coats very fast, but they don't generally go as quick. But if you can get on one coat of this stuff without any bubbles or any issues, I mean, it's going to look a lot better. I really like the epoxy finishes because you don't have to sand, and it just, you're never going to get the same kind of gloss sanding something and buffing it as you do just a finished resin. It's literally a perfect surface, as long as you can get bubbles and other flaws out. Yeah, the sun's cheap too. It kind of depends on where you live, though. And another thing about it, the best light is going to be when it's directly overhead. When it's like kind of going down, it's got a lot of atmosphere to go through to get to you. So best to do this stuff midday or around there, Okay, so I'm going to just kind of feel this. Yeah, it's hardened up. But like I said, I really think that you're best off letting this stuff cure better. I'm going to blow my nose. Let me turn on the mute. All right, I can breathe again. So let me pull out my nail finisher. I'll kind of show you what I got here. It's called the Nail Star Professional. Oh, we're zoomed in a little bit, I think. Zoom it out, zoom it out. Look at this guy, Nail Star. Now you can set up UV light systems and stuff. I just figured let me give this a shot, see how it works. I got to blow it off a little bit, but that way I can kind of set it. It has like a little timer, all that stuff, Let's set this thing up over here. It's not a perfect solution, but it's a solution. I would much prefer just sticking this thing outside. So let me switch camera views real quick while I reset the camera up. You need that? Yeah. It's pretty sweet. Forget how much it cost. I don't think it was that much. I don't think these things cost a whole lot. I just thought that on days that it's 5 o'clock p.m. in the winter and dark, it might be a good idea to have something else. And I didn't really feel like spending the time DIYing a UV light setup thing. I don't need this lamp. No, I do my nails with it. That's why I bought it. Come on. So let's see here. You can turn it on, and there's like different brands and all that kind of stuff. Is it on? No. What's happening here? There we go. See it? It has this little tray that can kind of pull out, sort of, I think. So, problem is, I think I'm just going to stick it in there because, I mean, it's pretty, well, it's not very dry. It'd be nice to have something to kind of keep this thing up. Now, one thing you can do is kind of take this thing out and, like, kind of, it doesn't have to be, yeah, I really want to hold it somehow up. So let me see if I can figure out a way to hold this thing up somehow. Like right at this level, that would be perfect. But the mirror kind of bounces the rays up. I don't know if they're very good for your eyes, but come on, get in the hole. Put this thing back. Let's see here. How can I figure this out? I'm going to grab a clamp and then clamp the clamp to something. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm doing because I'm on the wrong camera. Ha! There we go. So anyway, I turned it on, and what the problem is, I really want to hold this thing up. So I've grabbed a clamp, and I think that I can figure out a way to clamp the clamp to a chair or something like that. I got a stool over here. I'm going to have to zoom you guys out a little bit. Scoot you back. So you can kind of see what I'm doing. This is not going as smoothly as I'd like. Here we go. Got cords everywhere. Okay, so I need this thing to kind of hang out. I think this is how we're going to do it right here. I guess I could maybe just clamp this thing to the, could have clamped it to the chair, but directly, but one clamp plus another clamp plus a blank. Like I said, I'm sure there's way better ways to do this, but on the fly, oh no, gotta come in like this. I think this is gonna work pretty good on the fly. And so I'll probably rotate this thing also a little bit. Let me see if I can get this thing up. There we go. There we go. We got it in there, huh? Not too bad. It's looking pretty good. So there's my makeshift drying rack. Like I said, there's way better ways if you come up with, if you're gonna, especially if you're doing things over and over again, repeated things, there's a much better system that you could make yourself just buying, you know, UV bulbs and building kind of a box. It wouldn't have to be as hard as this. But if you're only going to do this for certain things and you can kind of cobble stuff together, that's not a bad way to go. I want to say it was like $20 for that thing. So it's already set up, you know, ready to go. And I don't know, should work pretty good. So hopefully, and if you need to do your nails, then you're ready to go, right? I mean, $20. C-clamps. Yeah. Yeah, John, that's the thing, is that's kind of what I used to think, that, oh, it should only take a couple minutes. That's not the truth. It'll take maybe 10 to 15 minutes. I would recommend, to get the best results. Put it outside and leave it in the sun for like 10 or 15 minutes. Then it's going to be fully cured, as long as the sun has hit every side of it. With these lights, I don't know. Those little torches are not enough at all. You'd have to sit there for a long time with a torch to get it fully cured. And that was the problem that I always had. They always seemed like, oh, they're still sticky, and they're, you know, so I kind of tried them when they first came out, or, you know, years ago, and I didn't like them. It seemed kind of like a hassle. But the problem that I was running into was I wasn't getting them fully cured. And so, you know, I really think that if you're going for a finish, if you can get it on there perfectly, then what you want to do is just leave it under these lights probably for like 30 minutes. Honestly, that's what I would do. That way there's no question that it's fully cured and ready to go. If you need to put on multiple coats, I think you can get away with just torching it real quick on the lathe. The issue is if you have to sand it again, then you need to get it fully cured. And that's where I was running into issues. You'd be sanding it and it's gummy and sticky. So just my advice, just stick it out in the sun for like 15 minutes, 20, and then you don't have to worry. You can move on. So let's see here. All right, Dave, have a good one. So anyway, guys, like I said, weekend streams the point is going to be kind of 1 hour or so, not too much longer than 1 hour. Episodes type thing, but they're not going to be regular. It's just going to be whenever I have something to turn and want to share with you guys. It'll be kind of like turning hangout time. Not much different than normal stuff. It's just that one's not going to be dead on the schedule. Wednesdays at 3 p.m. we're going to do resin casting streams every week. But the weekend ones will be kind of fun, and so I can get some turning time in, get some extra projects done and some videos up so we can all kind of hang out. So I hope you guys had fun with this. That project probably is going to require some sanding. It wasn't perfect, but I think that if I sand it out a little bit, I think that next coat is probably, I'll be able to get it on perfect and just walk away basically. That's the beauty of that UV finish stuff. So a big thank you to Dan over at Stainless Bottle Stoppers for sending in that coffee tamper thing. Again, I don't have a link. I don't know where he got it, that specific one. I think there are some kits out there available. Just Google it. And let's see, in the coffee bean blanks, that thing turned amazing. And I'm going to attribute pretty much all of the ease of turning that to the negative rate cutter. I really think this is the first coffee bean blank that I have turned since they came out with the negative rate cutters. I don't think I'd turned one before, and it turned amazing. Usually they're just, you have to fill chips left and right on these things. Stabilizing the coffee beans can kind of help a little bit. I don't really see, for like a one-off project, I don't see the point in stabilizing the coffee beans. It's not that, you're still going to have issues. So it's not really worth it. But I didn't do anything to those besides soak them in acetone to pull some oils out. And I mean, I had one little, I don't even know if I'd call it a chip. Like, it was like one little indentation thing that might have just been in the coffee bean. The rest of those things were just cracks that are inherent in the coffee beans themselves. So if you're going to turn coffee bean blanks, I would highly recommend looking into, if you don't have them already, get a negative rate cutter. I think it'll help a ton. That's what those things do. They help with difficult materials to turn them. And so, if you haven't tried them out anyway, I would highly recommend it, especially if you do things that are generally kind of brittle. They really make it a lot easier. So, Bruce, you just showed up. We're done. Weekend ones I was just explaining is going to be kind of turning hour. I got about an hour. My schedule is kind of messed up this year. I've really needed to kind of clean out some time on my schedule. So what I've decided, the streams are going to be Wednesdays at 3 p.m. We're doing those every week, and it'll probably be a resin casting project. And then some of the projects that blanks we make, I'm going to turn and just do a regular video. And then sometimes I may just have something to turn, or to get more of those projects that we make on Wednesdays done. And as long as I have time, we'll do a weekend one. So, but I got to kind of cram it into about an hour. I know that we're a little bit over time, but I kind of talked at the beginning for longer than, I think I'm going to try to not do updates at the beginning of these on the weekends, just kind of roll into turning. And it's just going to be kind of like hang out in the shop and see what's going on, kind of the same as what we did, but a little bit shorter. So anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll post pictures when I get this thing done. Like I said, I may go ahead and do a little bit of sanding on this thing, and just try and get, I know that there's going to be a few little air bubble things that popped on the surface. But I'll show pictures when I get it all finished up. It was fun to turn. If you're into espressos, or honestly, I don't even know exactly what these things do. I know they kind of press down coffee grounds, espresso grounds. I'm not sure what kind. But if you're into that, I mean, this is a pretty cool thing that you can make on your own. I mean, simple little handle and not much to the shaping. But a pretty nice little piece. Or if you know someone that you can give a gift to, it's a good one. So anyway, guys, I will see you on Wednesday. Make sure, if you didn't check it out, the accompanying video where I made the blanks, I posted today, and it didn't seem like I had no views on this thing. It was well below what a normal video does. So I don't know if YouTube didn't really notify people, but it was a replay of the Patron Hangout in December where we made these blanks. So if you want to see that, make sure to check on my channel, click on the videos tab. It'll be the first one. But yeah, so we cast those up, and the one thing that I do want to say, and I did mention it, I kind of put text on the screen, coffee beans float. It had been a long time since I cast them, and I kept saying they sink. They don't. They float. So just make sure that you put more beans than you need in your mold. Use a mold. If you're using like a flat mold, if you're trying to make 3/4 inch blanks, like fill it like a good 1.25 inches with coffee beans. And then even try and kind of press them down in so they don't float up. Even on this handle there at the very end, it was all just resin. There was no coffee beans. So what I should have done was probably put more beans in the pipe and then kind of push them down in. That way you have material to kind of, collapse down in from the top. So just a couple little tips on those, but check out that video, and I think that's about it. Yeah, so anyway, guys, thanks for joining the fun tonight, and I will see you guys all on Wednesday for the next live stream.